Welcome into the Closing Line Show for Sunday, June 9th. We got Ski Prophet, Ian Cameron, myself, Drew Martin, breaking down today's card, plus the NBA Finals. Ski Prophet on Twitter, at Ski Prophet. Welcome into the show, buddy.
What's going on, Drew? And it's great to be back here again. We're coming off my bad, I thought I was muted. We're coming off a great day, though, with best bets. I think we went either 3-0 or 2. Did you have a push or win? I know it at least had 8, so I'm looking forward to another great day here with you guys.
Yeah, man. 2-0-1. I was the lone person without the win. Got the push, but Ski Prophet and Ian Cameron on Twitter, at Babano, both won, so hopefully all followed. Ian, welcome to the show. Happy Sunday morning to you.
Yeah, I mean, that was good. I didn't see any baseball yesterday. I was at the golf, but obviously another great outing from Lucas Giolito. And like I say, I mean, just keep an eye out for when he's starting, because right now he's as much a bet-on pitcher as anybody in Major League Baseball right now. He is in a zone. He's locked in. He's mowing down opposing hitters. So Lucas Giolito of the White Sox, keep your eyes out for the next time you see him starting for that White Sox team.
Yeah, and Ian, you went to golf yesterday. It's the Canadian Open. It's kind of like the primer for the U.S. Open. Did you notice anything? Anything you think bettors can take notice of and use going forward?
The putting has been tricky for some of these guys yesterday. They left everybody on a lot of the greens I was at was leaving putts short. Like, it was just like the line was read correctly, and the putts were just like 4 or 5 feet short. And they weren't just getting just that right amount of distance on them. So that was interesting to see. So, they could be difficult, because the putting was just, I think people struggled with that yesterday. It's something to keep in mind for Sunday. This may not be, the weather is ideal for what you would think would be low rounds in the Canadian Open, but putting's not been up to snuff. So the weather's going to be perfect again today. Like, it's been just a perfect 4-day weekend weather-wise for this tournament. So, and it's a packed leaderboard right now. Rory Mcilroy is the guy that, is turning some heads with his performance here, because he's obviously had some tough times, and he's even missed cuts in the past, but he had a really good third round yesterday. He's put himself in position to contend and be in this thing and possibly win it. So Rory Mcilroy, he's one of those guys where when he gets that confidence back and he gets that rhythm and momentum going, he can be tough to beat. He might be the guy that could be the Canadian Open champion when it's all said and done.
Good stuff, Ian. It sounds like you enjoyed it. So what was the atmosphere like there? I mean, was it a good time just kind of watching the golfers?
Yeah, it was. It was a great crowd, actually. The crowd was into it. They get in the hole. Well, everybody does that when they on the putting green, get in the hole or off the tee. Even though there's no chance in hell, some of these guys, they go get in the hole on a par 5 off the tee. Like, you realize they're not going to get a hole in one, right? You do know that. But yeah, it was a great environment. Everybody, lots of great, exhibits they had around the golf course. The food was really good. I mean, the crowd was loud. Several "Let's Go Raptors" chants, and keeping during the golf, like especially when the Canadians came off the 18th green, "Let's go Raptors," you would hear, and the place would just explode with "Let's go Raptors" chants. And keep in mind, this is Hamilton. It's not Toronto. This is Hamilton, about an hour outside of Toronto. So Raptors fever alive and well at the golf course too.
Good stuff, man. Glad to hear you enjoyed. And guys, we're going to break down the NBA Finals for tomorrow night. Also hit on all of today's card. We got MLB, WNBA. Also look ahead towards CFL with Ian Cameron. Everyone in the chat box, welcome in. Happy Sunday morning to you. We got the bartender, Peter, Sean, Jason, Andrew, Joseph. Let us know what you guys are looking to bet and why. Feel free to market it however you would like in the chat box. But let's go around a look ahead towards tomorrow night's game in the NBA Finals. Toronto trying to close it out here. Ian, in your neck of the woods, we got Golden State at Toronto, 212.5, 211.5 is the total at Bet Online. -3 right now, Ski. Little juice on the Toronto Raptors, -3 here. Anything you want to start the show off with thoughts off of yesterday's show and what you're looking to bet tomorrow night?
Well, this game, it's a little tough for me. This is usually I'd have a play by now, but the way I'm looking at this game, I've been getting a lot of heat. People say I hate the Raptors. I haven't taken the Raptors all playoffs, so I'll try to find a spot for you Raptors backers. First half, if I like the Raptors, I think it has to be there. I mean, They've averaged 53.7 on their last three. Golden State's been held to 50.7, and that's including them winning at the half the last game. And just looking at the stats, when I put the last three games, like even giving Golden State the benefit of the doubt, taking away the first game, last three games, first quarter, they averaged 26 points per game. First half, they averaged 50.7 points per game. And last three full games, they averaged 103.3 points per game. That's not the Warriors that I'm used to. And on the other side, Raptors are averaging 110 points. And I keep hearing defense, we need to do defense from Golden State, but it's just not happening. And they keep saying they score 109, they need to hold Toronto under 109, and clearly they're not. They average 110. So I see an advantage slightly on the first half with the Raptors, and on the full game. If you like the Raptors, I mean, this is the knockout punch right here on your home floor. The one thing I will say, I don't see this. I haven't seen this too many times throughout the season. Golden State usually is not that great against the spread when I'm looking at these stats, but they're 7-4 as a road dog. They're 5-4 when the spread is +1.5 to +4.5. And on the other side, when I usually look at the Raptors, I mean, it's usually the other way around, but they're 25-27 as a home favorite. They're 9-15 when the spread is -4.5 to -1.5. So I'm not ready to bet the full game just yet, but if I did like the Raptors, I would like the first half.
Okay, so kind of leaning towards Raptors first half here, Ski. And do you still feel the same as far as if you like the Warriors, look to bet them in the series price, not necessarily in Game 5?
It's a long shot, but it's just my opinion that, I mean, I wouldn't bet on many teams to come back from down 1-3, but if there's going to be a team to do it, I would bet on this team. I've done it before. I mean, the last time I'll say when they were down 1-3 to the Thunder, I was in Vegas and the odds were +275, and they came back and won. Now the odds are a lot worse here. They don't really think they're going to do it here, but it's just how I feel. I think if they win tonight, then they go back home and win another game, and we have a Game 7. So +500 on a Game 7, I would like those odds.
All right, and Ian, let's get you in here, man. What are your thoughts on tomorrow night's game?
Well, we do know Kevin Durant's not coming back, so he's not going to arrive on his, magic carpet or swing in there on his Superman cape or anything and come in there and try to save the day for the Golden State Warriors. He will not be in there tomorrow night. So, and I don't know, without him, you don't. For me, it's Golden State's problem right now is that they need somebody other than Clay and Steph to be the guys to get them a victory here. They need Draymond Green's good defensively. He's been good rebounding. He's been giving you that this series. They've left him wide open, and really Andre Iguodala, other than that incredible shot late in Game 2, the Raptors have taken their chances. They've left him open. They say, "We'll dare you to shoot the ball." And he's really struggled with his shot as well, I thought, the last couple of games for the Golden State Warriors at Oracle. And even Draymond, I think, has got to be more aggressive offensively, look for his shot a lot more than he did in the last two games, because the Nick Nurse defense that the Raptors are employing is just, we're taking away Clay, or at least we're going to make him work. We're going to take away Steph at all possibilities. Now, it's unrealistic to expect Steph Curry to shoot 2 for 9 from three-point range, again, like he did in game number 4. You would expect that to definitely improve tomorrow night in Game 5. The side is very, very tough for me. I need to see Golden State win tomorrow night before I'm convinced that they can make this a series and maybe get back into it. Because if you're Toronto, just seeing the mindset of the team, hearing quotes from Kyle Lowry, Kawhi talking to the media after the game, Van Vliet, everybody's got that serious stoic demeanor, even after 3-1. I didn't see any celebrating. I didn't see any smiles. I didn't see any hugging going on. It was a head down, focused, business-like demeanor from the Toronto Raptors. That's what I like to see from teams when they're trying to close out an opponent with the pedigree of the Golden State Warriors. So I think if Toronto loses tomorrow night, it's not going to be because they got ahead of themselves or they allowed themselves to get in the mindset of thinking about being the champions already before they actually ended the series. I think it'll just be Golden State outplays them, if somehow they lose tomorrow night. But with that focused mindset that it appears that they all have, Kyle Lowry's, has exemplified that perfectly. When he was talking to Kenny Smith and Shaq and Chris Webber and the NBA TV guys after the game the other night. You said we haven't done anything yet. We know the next game is going to be the hardest one to win. So I like that mindset from the Toronto Raptors. I honestly think they're going to close it out tomorrow night, but I'm going to give Golden State the respect they deserve to say I'm going to ease off maybe on backing them. I'm going to lean to the Raptors. What I am going to bet in this game is going to go back to the well with the over, I think, in game number 5. Because I do think Steph Curry will shoot better. I mean, a 2-for-9 duplication of that from three-point range. You can't expect that. The Raptors offensively, everybody's confident now. Kawhi's having big games. Kyle Lowry has been tremendous the last couple of games for the Raptors. Fred VanVleet feeling good. Danny Green went back into some struggles last game. The 1-3 he made was big. I think he could shoot better now back at home. And I think Toronto is going to be able to score their share of points against Golden State. Golden State's had trouble defensively. On the flip side, though, I think Klay Thompson now a second game back, I think going to help him a little bit more, feel more comfortable. And Steph Curry's the key. I think he's not going to shoot as bad as he did last game. And I think you're going to see Draymond Green's the guy that I think of. Draymond Green's the guy that I think is going to maybe look to be a little bit more aggressive offensively in this game. When you look at the series pattern so far, we've seen an over-under pattern. We had an over in game 1, under game 2, over game 3, under game 4. So I'm going to stick with that pattern. Again, we've seen the total come down. It was 215.5 game 4. It's 212, 212.5 now. Take advantage of that reduced. Take advantage of the adjustment, the over adjustment in my mind. So over the total, I think it'll be the one bet I have pregame for game 5 tomorrow night.
All right, Ian, looking
One
towards the
comment
over.
really quick.
Yeah, go ahead, Ski.
Just he said that everybody on the Raptors is pretty much taking on the characteristics of Kawhi, and I agree. That's what happens. Your best player, you heard, or I think I remember hearing Giannis say it. He said, "If I bring my best and I play the best game," or no, it was Embiid actually, Game 7. He said, "If I bring it and I play my best, then my teammates will follow." And that's what you see with the Raptors and all the seriousness and everything. They're just following their leader. So I agree with his points there.
Good stuff, boys. And we got a bunch of guys in the chat box looking at this game. We got Ralph Portuando. What's up, man? Taylor Byer. I got Warriors first quarter, then Raptors after that. Bartender, welcome in. Doug in the house. Morning from home. Released from the hospital yesterday. All is well. Thanks for the good wishes, guys. Absolutely, Doug. Good to hear you're doing well. Stay healthy, man. Bartender James, welcome in. Happy Sunday morning to you guys. We're here 11 a.m. both Saturday and Sunday. Ian Cameron on Twitter at Babano. Ski Prophet on Twitter at Ski Prophet. 11 a.m. Eastern time, Saturday and Sunday. Corey, Daryl, Jesse, all welcome in. Ian, want to get you any quick thoughts you have? Boston, St. Louis tonight, Stanley Cup Finals. Total of 5, juice towards the over. Looks like a competitively priced game. Looks like minus 120, minus 125 towards St. Louis, the Blues favorite at home. You looking at betting this game tonight?
It's a really, really tricky game in terms of the side because you have to think of what happened in game 5 when you handicap game 6. What happened in game 5 is the Bruins felt they were screwed. Bruins felt they got the bad side of the whistle. A non-call, slew foot, or trip at least is what should have been called. It led to a St. Louis goal just seconds after that. 2-0 goal that pretty much put the game out of reach. I know how this NHL works sometimes because we saw it earlier in the playoffs when the St. Louis Blues were on the bitter end of a call that went against them that shouldn't have. The hand pass against San Jose. Sharks won in overtime after a goal was allowed after a hand pass was not called. Next game, St. Louis got the better of the whistles. The referees were a little bit more lenient, making a few more calls towards St. Louis, knowing that, hey, we sort of did them a bad one. The previous game. I think we could see something like that tonight. Bruce Cassidy coming out saying it was a black eye, that bad call in game 5. Officials a terrible mistake there. So I could see them trying to give the Bruins an extra call or two. The question is, will that be enough? And I'm not sure because I think St. Louis is asserting themselves game in, game out as the stronger team, the healthier team, the more physical team. They're winning one-on-one puck battles because of that physicality, and I think they're the healthier team. And I think Boston, I think several of their key players must be playing at way less than 100% because we're seeing Brad Marchand, we're seeing Patrice Bergeron, we're seeing David Pastrnak, especially that trio. barely make any sort of impact in this series, especially the last couple of games. You know, you almost can't tell they're on the ice. And that's almost inexplicable, and that's almost unfathomable to comprehend, that top line for the Boston Bruins has been so quiet, invisible, you know, on the ice when they've had such a great season, all three of them. It leads me to believe that the punishment physically that the Bruins are taking and that physical toll, and St. Louis is a big, heavy, hard-hitting physical hockey team. It's wearing them down. And it's a worry for me. And I know Boston's got the hearts of lions. You know, whatever big punch they've got tonight, they're going to throw it. I'm not sure it's enough, though. I really am. I mean, I was initially leaning toward Boston tonight. I probably would still lean that way, but I'm not going to pull the trigger. I'm not, because we have seen St. Louis be pretty good in these closeout situations, and they've had a chance to eliminate a team. They've been able to get the job done here. So it's a conflict game for me from the side perspective. From the totals perspective, I think over 5 minus 140 is decent value here. There's minus 140 attached to it. It's an elimination game. Let's keep that in mind. So if Boston's trailing 2-1, 3-1 in the third period, could have all those late goal scoring shenanigans that can take place if they pull the goalie, get the extra attacker out. That's always good in an elimination game for that. And again, you're talking about a total of 5 here. So you're not talking about an absolute mountain to have to jump over trying to get this game over the total when you know the both teams, especially Boston, are probably going to go after it tonight. St. Louis wants to finish the series on home ice. Boston going to go after it, trying to stay alive and force a game 7. So I think there's going to be offensive opportunities. The question is, can they dent these two goalies? Binnington and Rask have both been excellent, especially Binnington the last couple of games for the Blues, but going to take my chance over the total 5 minus 140.
I like it. Good breakdown, Ian, on the ice tonight. And guys, we're going to break down the WNBA, look ahead towards the CFL and today's MLB on today's card, plus best bets at the end. 24-20 on the year, 4-2 last weekend, 2-0-1 yesterday. Ian and Ski both coming in with winners. But Ski, throw it over to you. And guys, please smash the like button. WNBA, man, you've been good on Twitter at Ski Profit. We got 5 games today. You looking to bet all 5? What are you looking to do on today's WNBA slate?
I'm looking to bet a couple, but really quick, before I forget, I just want to mention this. I said I want to throw out some more stats for the Raptors, so I want to put as many as I can remember. They're 7-1 against the spread and straight up their last 7, and Golden State is 1-4 against the spread last 5 versus Toronto. So that's another one for you Raptors backers. So I don't hate the Raptors, you guys. I don't hate them. Yeah. WNBA, I'll just go down the line. Vegas versus Liberty. What I'm looking to do now, so in NBA, I kind of look at last 5 game stats during the regular season because I want to see how they're doing recently. And in WNBA, I mean, the games are a little bit, how do I say, more farther apart. So I'm going to look at last 3 games. That gives me about every week or so how they're doing. So last 3 game stats is what I'm referring to when I say some of these stats. So offensive rating, defensive rating, rebound percentage. Vegas wins all 3 versus Liberty. They own the Liberty. They're 7-1 against the spread. Last 8 meetings. The only person they have, I can't remember her name, but it's the center for the Liberty. She's scoring all of the points. Once she comes out the game, it goes downhill. And that reflects in their first quarter. They're 3-1 first quarter against the spread. And as the game goes on, it gets worse and worse. 2-2 first half, 1-3 against the spread. I would like Vegas here. Vegas is 3-1 first half against the spread. It's a high number for the full game. So that's why I would look more towards the first half. I'm not sure exactly what the number is, but that would be my advantage in that game. And also, first half unders, Vegas is 1-3. 3-1, sorry, towards the under. Liberty are 3-1 towards the under as well. I would look for less points in the first half and more in the second half. So if you like the over, stay away from the first half. If you like the under, I will be on it in the first half. And that's the play that I'm looking to add, that first half under. I'll look after the game. Dallas and Washington, I don't have much on this game. It usually goes under when they play. When under the last 5 games, under 5 of the last 6 road games for Dallas. I'm going to pass on that one there. I do have a play on the Connecticut versus the Dream. And last 3 game stats for this one, offensive rating, defensive rating, rebound percentage, they win all 3. The Dream are terrible. They can't defend. They can't score. They can't rebound. They can't do anything. I don't see. They're just a fade, strictly fade. Fade them in the first quarter, fade them in the first half, fade them in the full game. But in this game here, Connecticut seems to be a little bit stronger coming out of the second half, I've noticed. And that's why I'm going to stick to the full game. I like the whole game to beat the number. It's at 5.5 when I took it. I like what I see from the starting five: Jasmine Thomas, Alyssa Thomas, John Quill Jones. They all play really great together. On the other side, they're not so good. So I'm rocking with the 5.5. And I also like the under. First half under for the Connecticut is 4-1. First half under for the Dream is 4-1. It's went under 6 of the last 8 times they've played. If I'm taking a total in this game, it'll be first half under. And Phoenix and the Fever. Fever have came out hot to start the year. They weren't that great last year. And Phoenix, they've been kind of disappointing. I know they're missing Diana Taurasi. They should be better once she gets back. But this team is expected to make some noise, and if they're gonna live up to that, I think they have to win this game here. I think the Fever's hot streak was stopped today, and they're 7-1 against the spread. Their last 8 games versus the Fever. They are bad on the road. They're 0-5 straight up their last 5 road games. But I just think it's a spot where Phoenix has to win. And as far as the total, both teams play slow. 12th in pace for Phoenix, which is last. Indiana plays 9th in pace. So defensive rating 4th and 6th. I don't see that many points in this game. I'll lean on the under. And it's also a revenge game for Phoenix. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Not a revenge game. I'm looking at this next game here. The Storm versus the Chicago Sky. It's a revenge game for the Storm. They lost to the Sky. And last 3 game stats all favor the Storm here. I was kind of thinking of how I want to back them. The Sky are a team that starts off great in the first quarter. They're 3-0 on the first quarter spread. So I would like the Storm more as the game goes on. Storm are 4-1 against the spread last 5 versus the Sky. They're 12-5 against the spread their last 17 road games. So I would look towards backing Seattle in this one. And that's it. The last thing I want to mention is Phoenix is also a great first quarter team. I said I would like Phoenix to right the wrongs here. So if I'm looking to back them, it'll be in the first quarter where they're 3-0 on the first quarter spread. And if you guys like some of these stats, I've been keeping track first quarters, first halves, or over-unders. I'll tweet them out if you guys want them.
You can follow him on Twitter at Ski Profit. He's been good in the WNBA. Also one of the best minds in the NBA betting arena. We got Ian Cameron from north of the border here at Babano on Twitter. Ian, it's CFL opening week, I believe, and CFL fun stuff to bet. You know, it's football. It's bettable. It's a sizable market. You can get a good amount down on the sport in terms of betting. What are you looking at week 1 here? You getting involved? You firing away, or are you kind of trickling in here, keeping it low volume?
Well, we have no lines yet. But we've got some things circled in terms of sides, totals we're interested in. Obviously, we got to see what the numbers are first, but definitely have some thoughts and opinions on these teams heading into the season. Who's going to be good? Who's going to be maybe not as good? Who's going to be more of an over team, more of an under team? So it's interesting. I think Ottawa-Calgary's a good one to talk about because it is a Grey Cup rematch. The Calgary Stampeders have ruled the West Division, obviously, for a very long time. They won the Grey Cup last year. They've been in the Grey Cup game a lot. They've won the division a lot. They're going to be hard-pressed to do it again this year. Lots of change, especially on the defensive side of the football. The Stampeders really have a lot different personnel group there on all 3 phases of the defense, too. Defensive line's been reshuffled. The linebacking core has been made. Secondary's been rebuilt. So it is definitely a team that's going to have a lot of new faces on that side of the ball. They may struggle early on. The former defensive coordinator, Devon Claybrooks, is gone. He's now the head coach at BC. So for this Calgary team, they're going to need the offense to carry them, and I think they're still going to have a great offense, Bo Levi Mitchell and company. So you've got Calgary's offense looking good again. Their defense might be a question mark. And then on the flip side, for Ottawa, it's the complete polar opposite. Their offense is completely rebuilt. The Red Blacks coming into the season. Trevor Harris went to Edmonton. Greg Ellingson went to Edmonton. Quarterback wide receiver combo from last year. Their left tackle went there as well. Sir Vincent Rogers, the offensive line shuffling a bit. Obviously a new starting quarterback. Dominique Davis, the starting quarterback this year for the Ottawa Red Blacks. East Carolina, of course, is where he played in the college days. But he's going to get that chance after being a backup to Trevor Harris the last couple years. So we'll see how he does. I mean, I'm still going to have to be sold. It was down to him and Jonathan Jennings. I don't mind the decision. People are saying we should have given Jennings a chance. He's been a starter in the league for BC the last few years, but he wasn't very good. You know, I'd say to hell with it. Give Dominique Davis a chance. See what he's got, and we'll see what he can do with this team. But it's a new look offense, new quarterback, offensive line changes, skill position talent is a lot different. The running back too, William Powell's gone. The offensive coordinator last year, Jamie Elizondo's gone as well. So this Ottawa offense is a big fat question mark coming into this season. But their defense actually should be quite good still. It was a decent defense last year. It should be as good, if not better, this year. So that's a fascinating game. It's a Grey Cup rematch. It's Calgary's offense, which is their strength, but Ottawa's defense is their strength. And then, of course, you've got Calgary's defense with question marks, but Ottawa's offense with question marks coming into the season. So that's a fascinating game. In terms of the other ones, Saskatchewan, Hamilton, I think Ticats are going to be really good. Saskatchewan's defense is going to be unbelievable. It's going to be, can they get anything out of their offense and consistency, and can Zach Calaro stay healthy? That's going to be the critical thing for them. Montreal, Edmonton. Montreal is a complete and utter disgrace right now. I ragged on this team last year. How do you fire your head coach a week before the season starts? And they did that yesterday. They fired Mike Sherman. He's gone. Kahari Jones has taken over as at least the interim head coach, quarterbacks coach with Montreal. It's a mess. This franchise has no clue what they're doing. The management sucks. The personnel, the roster's not very good. I don't know how the hell he keeps his job. Kavis Reed, the GM of this team for the Montreal Alouettes, he's done a horrible job, beyond brutal. And he keeps being allowed to make asinine decisions like firing your head coach a week before the season starts. Could you imagine if that happened in the NFL? They'd get roasted in the media, roasted by public opinion if the GM ever fired a coach 1 week before the NFL season starts, right after NFL preseason. That is basically what we're comparing this to. I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous. You put this Kahari Jones in such a terrible situation, terrible spot now, and all of a sudden you're left scrambling going into the season. So, to wrap up my little CFL diatribe here, am I looking to bet against this Montreal team? You better believe it. Starting this week against Edmonton.
Okay, all right, good stuff. And I'm seeing Hamilton here. Week 1 at home? Are you going to that game?
Yeah, definitely will be there. Home opener. I'll be there for every Ticat home game this year. That's their home opener. It's also the season opener. Weather may not be great that night. I'm seeing rain possibly in the forecast Thursday night in Hamilton. Hopefully not. Hopefully the weather forecast changes between now and then, but rain in the forecast, maybe a little wind too. So keep that in mind, especially if you're interested in the total. The weather may not be that great Thursday night.
Yeah, maybe look towards the under Thursday night in the kickoff in Hamilton. CFL it's a fun league to bet. You know, if you like college football, a lot of the guys that don't make the NFL head to the CFL, so it's a good thing to kind of follow there and bet on. Adrian, not applicable in the house. What's up, guys? King Rail in the house. Welcome in, man. Mikey D in the house as well. Dave Paddock. Yeah. Go ahead.
While you're on the chat, I did see some valuable info in there from some of our cappers in the chat, so I wanted to shout it out. I know Paco Hilly stays in San Diego. He said he's fading Strasburg today with the Padres. He liked them to get going after facing Scherzer last night. So when people talk about their team or their hometown, I like to listen. Paco knows what he's talking about there. So I know we're going to get to baseball. And I saw another comment. As you said, King Rail's in the house, and he came in and said Storm money line, easy cash. And I just wanted to clarify one thing I said. When I said it's a revenge game, it was for the Storm. They just lost to the Sky. And I do agree with him there that the Storm are the play. And the game that I said I was passing on, he has an opinion. So there you go. Mystics line is too damn high, but don't get fooled and take the Wings. It's an in-play game. Wings have offense early and hammer Mystics. So there you go for the game I didn't touch on.
Okay, and King Rail's also in saying Aces first half -6 and full game -10, both max bets. On my way to San Diego.
Good luck. Agree.
Okay, all right, good stuff.
The Aces
man.
first half, that's my play as well. So it's nice to agree.
All right, aces. Aces better come up, aces.
Looking towards the aces in the WNBA, and a segue here to MLB today. Guys, a couple games I was looking at. One, Ian, I want to throw it to you. You know, what you're looking to bet, looking towards Oakland. Freddie Montes on the hill, except they're laying minus 180 here. Also the Toronto game, man. We got Clayton Richard on the hill coming from the left side. He's got to be one of the least profitable pitchers of our lifetime in MLB. That guy has lost more than any pitcher I can really remember, Ian. And he's up here on Toronto, kind of looking to fade him, man. Arizona minus 137 looks like the low water mark on him. Throw it to you. What you're looking to bet at in MLB, and also any tidbits here on the Toronto Arizona Diamondbacks game.
Yeah, you want to bet Toronto right now? I don't. This is a rough team right now, really, really rough. And even with the youngsters infused into the team, Vlad Guerrero Jr., Kevin Biggio, the recent prospects that they've called up, it hasn't brought that kind of stimulation and winning that I think the Blue Jays were hoping it would. And obviously, from a pitching standpoint here, they're probably in tough today too. Clayton Richard, Arizona pounds lefties too. They're very, very good against southpaws hitting them. So this could be a tricky matchup here for Clayton Richard today. It's always the home team looking to avoid a sweep here in this series. That's sometimes something I like to back the home team, but there's no way I could get there with Toronto today and Clayton Richard, especially when you see Arizona with 286 batting average, 6 runs per game against lefties. They've been excellent crushing lefty pitching. And on the flip side, the Jays only hitting 226 against lefties as a team, 3.8 runs per game, and they're facing Robbie Ray, I'm waiting for this guy to really dominate, and maybe it's just not going to be the case. The thing with Robbie Ray is he still walks too many guys. It's still a problem. And when he has to pitch from the stretch and there's guys on base, he really looks uncomfortable out there. So the key for him is getting 1, 2, 3 innings, keeping guys off base. When he can get into a rhythm, get multiple outs in a row, he can be tough. But it seems like guys on base bother him, and that's when he struggles. His command starts to go awry. But I'll tell you what, he may bring his C game today and still be able to shut down Toronto. It would be Arizona or nothing for me in this game. I think Arizona's bats against Richard, in theory, that's a good matchup for the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm looking towards the D-backs as well. We also got St. Louis, Chicago in the Sunday night game, and that was a game Ski Profit, won on the Cubs yesterday, plus 101, small underdogs there. Ski, you looking at anything on the MLB card today?
And sorry, I know I do kind of. I was trying to get into that D-back spot, but did I hear he's on the Cubs as well?
What's that, Ski?
Did I hear Ian was on the Cubs, or did I hear something wrong?
Yeah, no, I'm not on the Cubs game at all. No.
Okay. Well, I'm looking to go back to the well in this one. I won some money with the Cubs yesterday, and it was funny. I talked to you guys about it, and you said Lester, I don't know. And right out the gate, Lester gets rocked for 4 runs. So it was kind of rough to start, but they ended up pulling it out. And this game here, I mean, it's kind of the same scenario as far as the bullpen. Chicago 5th, St. Louis 14th, OPS, Chicago 4th, St. Louis 19th. Now, though, it's not a left-handed pitcher that St. Louis is going up against, but they are going up against Hendricks. And Hendricks is 9-0. Last 9 starts versus St. Louis. He has a 1.71 ERA at home. On the other side, Wainwright, he's bad on the road. It's just like the same thing from yesterday. 6.61 ERA on the road. And I saw a stat from I got it on Twitter, 5.53 ERA at night. So he's 1-5 last 6 on the road, or St. Louis is 1-5 last 6 on the road. They're 11-18 on the road in general. Chicago 23-11 at home. It's a series I think that the home team always wins. And I'm going to bet on Chicago to do that again here today. The thing is, the price is really high. So I have to go minus 1.5. I don't really lay over minus 135. So what's the line I can get for minus 1.5 on Cubs?
Let me check that for a sec. Okay, hold on one sec. I'll take a look. All right. Yeah, it'll be a plus price or even money, I would think. Even money slight plus price is what I would think with that. Yeah, plus 125, actually. You can get pretty good. Plus 125 on the Cubs run line.
That's what I wanted. Plus 120 or more. So I'll take that as one of my bets. That'll be my baseball bet for
Yeah, I don't
today.
mind that play actually because I think the Cubs are going to get on a roll now. Remember, they just signed Craig Kimbrell to bolster that bullpen. I think they're good. They're feeling good right now. They're hitting well, and when the Cubs are hitting well, that's when they're dangerous. And you got Baez and Rizzo and Bryant. They're all in good form right now at the plate for the most part. I think their bullpen at least has the chance to get a little bit better. And even though it's a rivalry here, you think this is not a situation where I think the Cubs take their foot off the gas pedal and say, "Hey, let's maybe back off. We've already won the series." There's a lot of dislike here with the Cardinals and the Cubs. So, and I like Hendricks at home. And you're right, Wainwright on the road is not been good. I always would rather back Hendricks at home than on the road, where I think he's always been a home road split kind of guy. So yeah, Cubs run line is something that no disagreement with about that one.
Yeah, good stuff, guys. In MLB, we got the game starting here in just under an hour and a half. Also, Tampa Bay, Boston, a big one in the AL East. Snell versus Rodriguez, minus 120. Kind of looking towards Snell there, but Boston with their lineup and can they turn it around is a question. But we got best bets coming up here in just a second, guys. Please smash the like button. We're here 11 a.m. Eastern time, Saturdays and Sundays. Ski Profit on Twitter at Ski Profit. Ian Cameron on Twitter at Babano. Guys, want to throw it around for any last thoughts before we do get to best bets 24 and 20 on the year. Ian at Babano on Twitter. Anything else you want to throw out there before we get to best bets today?
Yeah, it's funny. You mentioned your best bet was a push yesterday. It was a Rockies Mets over, right?
Correct. Yes.
All right. I'm on a Rockies Mets over today, actually. Hoffman against Syndergaard. The total's 8 here in this one. Syndergaard's not right. I mean, this is another situation where the lines are reasonable on some of these games involving Syndergaard, either to bet against him or bet the over, because it's Noah Syndergaard, and usually we think of him as a really top tier pitcher in this Mets rotation. He's been anything but this year. It's been a tough season. 4.83 ERA is not great. 12 runs on 18 hits. 12 runs on 22 hits in 18 innings over his last 3 starts. 6 walks in his last 18 innings. He's had control problems. 20 walks on the season for Noah Syndergaard. It's been a struggle for him. Each of his last 3 starts have gone over the total. I think the Rockies, going to be able to score some runs off him today, and the Mets bullpen, which is always a little up and down. And then on the flip side, you can't really like anything about Jeff Hoffman. Jeff Hoffman is one of those guys that was supposed to be a pretty decent prospect at one point, but he has been given so many opportunities as a starting pitcher with this Rockies team, just hasn't shown you that he can get it done. And again this season, and he's been forced into some starts because of some pitching injuries for Colorado. And you look at the 3 starts he's made since rejoining the rotation, May 24th, 5 runs, 3 runs, 5 runs allowed, 7.31 ERA, 13 runs allowed, and 16 innings of work. Just not a guy that I trust to get outs here right now as a starting pitcher at the major league level. So total sitting at a modest 8 here in this game. I think you'll see runs in this one, Rockies and Mets. Same thing with the Padres and the Nationals as well. Strasburg against Perdomo, actually, for the Padres. This is going to be a bullpen game for San Diego. Perdomo's going to pitch 1 inning. He's going to be the opener. And then they're going to turn to Robbie Erlin. And if you know Robbie Erlin, he's a lefty. Well, that's not good against Washington. Washington pounds lefties. They're one of the top teams in Major League Baseball hitting left-handed pitching. I think Erlin is the guy that's going to get the most innings out of that bullpen early in the game from San Diego. So I definitely think Washington will score. Strasburg has been pretty solid, but I like the fact that San Diego, they faced Scherzer yesterday, which is really, really tough. I think playing Strasburg the day after is something that they're more easily able to handle, after having to face Scherzer yesterday. So, and there's always, that Washington bullpen's always good to give up a couple runs for you late in the game as well. And that's the one thing, too, about Strasburg and liking the over in this game. Strasburg is not quite that 7, 8, 9 inning pitcher that maybe a Scherzer can be or some other guys. He's going to pitch 5, 6 innings. Doesn't usually go past the 7th very often. So you're going to get a few innings with that Washington bullpen here this afternoon. So those are the 2 overs I like today. We like the over in the Rockies, Mets, and the Nationals and the Padres.
I like it, Ian. Yeah, that Mets lineup has been hot lately, and Rockies lineup, always looking towards the overs with them. Ian, do have a quick question for you. with CFL, do you recommend any sports books? And do you know which sports books this year are going to open the lines, the first to market sports books? Is it Bet Online in the CFL?
Bet Online will be one of them. It used to be the Greek, but the Greek folded up shop, so it won't be them anymore. Bookmaker Chris, 5 Dimes. 5 Dimes would be my best guess in terms of who's going to be quickest. I think it'll be 5 Dimes. I think Bookmaker Chris will be next in line. Pinnacles right after that usually, and then probably you'll see Bet Online's usually about second or third. They slot in behind 5 Dimes. It'll be interesting to see how it goes this year, but usually 5 Dimes was always number 2 behind the Greek, and now they're going to be number 1 because the Greek no longer exists. So 5 Dimes is probably the very first place you'll find CFL lines opening up every week.
Actually, that's an interesting handicapping question, because the Greek opened CFL and now they close shop. So I don't know necessarily if 5 Dimes, if they were second, that necessarily means that they'll be first. Another sports book might step up. It's kind of an interesting thing. I bet you most sports books are kind of scared to open it up, Ian.
They are, especially in the CFL, because they know the people betting these things right away, like me, know what they're talking about and know what they're doing. So you're right. There's always that trepidation for the books. We don't want to be the first ones caught with our pants down, so to speak. We want to be able to just protect ourselves a little bit so we don't get a deluge of money just rushing in and laying us all out to waste. So from that standpoint, you're right. There's going to be maybe a little hesitancy, especially in week 1 coming up. So it's fascinating. Monday and Tuesday, early in the week, that's usually when you'll see the lines start to pop up each week, and I'm sure it'll be that way for week 1. I'm going to be monitoring that, though, and next week when we do this show, I'll let you know in terms of the order I saw the week 1 lines appear, so that maybe we can get a better handle on it moving forward.
Yeah, good stuff. And follow him on Twitter at Babano, one of the best CFL handicappers out there. And Ian, just to follow up on that, you think it will open about Monday afternoon?
Yeah, usually Monday afternoon, sometimes Tuesday morning as well. But usually, I found last year they opened on Mondays a lot more than they did. Like a couple of years ago, it'd be Tuesday would be that first day you see lines for CFL games the upcoming week. Now we saw a lot coming in on Monday last year. So I think Monday afternoon would be a good time to start looking to see what ends up popping up.
All right, good stuff, Ian. And Ski, question for you from Ron Wolsick. Best book for betting WNBA. Do you have any recommendations? Which sports book for the WNBA lines?
I like Bookmaker. I feel like they posted the fastest, and I would stay away from. I like Bovada to live bet, but as far as just betting in general, they don't post their lines until late for WNBA. Bet Online posts pretty early too for WNBA, so maybe Bookmaker and Bet Online. And I want to shout out a couple more things from the chat. Paco, like the Arizona team total over. Guan White, D-backs love lefties. I was gonna, I did answer Ron already. And I did see one of my friends from growing up, Randy Weaver, in here. So what's up, Randy? Thanks for tuning in and checking it out. Appreciate you, bro. And I just want to review my action that I've finalized, and I want to say the two that I'm going to think about. I am on Aces first half -6. I'm on Connecticut Sun -5.5. I'm on Cubs -1.5. I'm on Storm +1. And the plays that I'm thinking about considering are Vegas first half under and the Connecticut Sun first half under.
All right, Ski. He's Ski Profit on Twitter at Ski Profit. We got QQ Wilson with a crazy set. I got Miami 16 straight unders in day games. That's wild for the Marlins, man. I didn't know that at all. But guys, we're going to be here Saturday and Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern time. We're 24-20 in best bets. It is time for best bets, and then we can shut it down here. So please smash the like button on your way out. But let's go around the horn here. Ian Cameron, north of the border, on Twitter at Babano. What do you got for best bets, buddy?
Now, let's stick with the one I just mentioned, Rockies and Mets over 8. Best bet for Major League Baseball today. Syndergaard's not had the season people expected. He's not pitching like he did last year, 2 years ago, and even at Citi Field, where he's had a really great track record, 4.62 home ERA this season for Syndergaard. Jeff Hoffman, 7.29 ERA overall, 7.31 his last 3 starts, 7.5 ERA on the road this season. So there's nothing good at all about Hoffman right now in the way he's been going. You mentioned, Drew, the Mets lineup. 5 runs or more in 3 of their last 4 games. The Rockies, even their lineup's been pretty good. They've scored at least 3 runs in 10 straight games. In 8 of those games, or 7 of those games rather, they've scored 4 runs or more. So the Rockies lineups had some punch to it. 2 pitchers I don't trust, 2 bullpens that can sometimes be a little bit erratic late in the game. So we'll go Colorado, New York Mets over 8 for best bet.
All right, New York Mets, Colorado over the 8. It pushed yesterday. That was my best bet. So hopefully today it does get up and over. I'm looking at Arizona, Toronto, pretty much a fade on Clayton Richard coming from the left side against the D-backs lineup. Minus 137 was taken out, so I got to go with minus 140 on the D-backs today on the road in Toronto, going in under an hour and a half from now. So I'm on Arizona minus 140 over Toronto. And at Ski Profit on Twitter, what do you got for best bets, buddy? I think you're on mute, Ski.
One day I will get it together. I promise. One day I'll get it together.
I've been saying that
the Connecticut Sun would be my play, but the line just keeps going up.
I was just going to say, I've been saying that about me for 34 years. I'll wait for the day I get it together, and I'm still waiting.
Man, it's hard, but I'm going to get there. I promise I'll get there. I will take the Sun, but the line is up to 6.5 now. So I don't like to give best bets when the line is like, you're getting the ass end of the line. So I'm going to go for my best bet to Seattle Storm. They just lost to the Chicago Sky on the 1st of the month. It's a revenge game. If you like the Sky, it's only early. They start off the game hot and they crumble. So Storm 4-1 against the spread last 5 versus the Sky, 12-5 against the spread last 17 road games. In the last week, last 3 games, offensive rating, defensive rating, rebound percentage, advantage Storm. They're playing much better the past week. Give me the Storm at basically a pick 'em. Best bet.
Okay, so the best line is pick 'em, Storm?
Well, it's I took +1. That's what I saw. +1 and money line were like minus 110, so there's no point in taking money line unless I was getting something plus.
Okay, so Ski Profit on the Storm +1. We got Ian Cameron, Colorado, New York Mets over 8, and I am on Arizona minus 140. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Good show here Sunday morning. We'll be back Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern time. Ian Cameron on Twitter, at Babano, at Ski Profit on Twitter, Mr. Ski Profit, and at Drew Martin Bets for myself. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Please smash the like button on your way out. Best of luck with your bets today, and we'll see you next Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern time.
Good luck, everybody.